We should be rolling.
Yeah.
So tonight is the capital improvement workshop. We're talking about projects and expenses that we're going to incur in the future. We try to forecast what is to come and discuss all the expenses that we're going to incur. The big expenses that we're going to incur in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So we tried to, Lisa has done a lot of work in putting this together. We gathered a lot of information, and even with all that gathering and work that Lisa's put into it, there are a lot of holes still to fill in this plan. And honestly, I think it's probably going to be the end of January before we get a complete comprehensive capital improvement plan put together. We tried to divide it into from capital improvement, which pretty much encompasses all the real estate, all the buildings and properties that we have, and then kind of divide that out into community facilities, all the buildings, and then divide it into pools and parks. Parks really is going to have to have a comprehensive plan for just the parks and rec. And we have to have that comprehensive plan there, which is like a subset of this plan. That's going to take another probably year's worth of planning to put the comprehensive plan together for parks specifically. We have to have that in place if we're applying for grants. A lot of the grants specifically require that comprehensive parks and rec plan for the city. And then we broke it out into community infrastructure, which is water, streets, and sewer for us. And then another subset of this plan is the municipal equipment reserve plan, which we call MERP. And that is just all the equipment that we need to run the city. And that's everything from computers in the office to equipment, street maintenance equipment, backhoes, bobcats, pavers, all the things that we can forecast. So really the capital improvement plan is, you can kind of think of it as almost 3 plans in one, where it's the buildings and facilities, and then parks, and then the municipal equipment. So the first portion of the plan is community facilities, and again, this is we've gathered some information. We have not gathered enough information or complete information yet. City Hall building maintenance and facelift. City Hall really does need some kind of facelift to make it. It just needs work. We've got siding that's rusting. We've got doors that are rusting. If you go to, and you shouldn't compare to other cities, but if you go to other cities our size, some of them have some really nice city halls that, years ago they went into debt for, which, okay, that's good for them, but I don't see us going into debt for City Hall. But we can do improvements like clean up the face of it, clean up the area out front, that kind of thing. Another thing that needs to be considered is a roof replacement. Talking to one of the roofing contractors, there are things that we could do to extend the life of it as is. And that's not a huge expense, but eventually they probably will have to have a new roof just on the City Hall portion. And that's anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000. We're looking at that maybe 10 years out. The fire station is a different issue, so that's not included in the plan yet. The Wolverines Community Building, that eventually is going to have a new roof. We're getting quotes on what that would cost to do that. The senior center will eventually need a new roof. We're getting quotes on that. The Towanda Library has already had a new roof, but there are things that may need to be taken care of there as far as city maintenance. So that's the roof is something that we don't need to consider. We've already replaced the heating and air conditioning system in that. So those two, the Towanda Library should, cost wise, be one of our least cost facilities at this point, because a lot of the major issues have been taken care of.
Are the buildings on Main Street under this program?
Yes.
A little separate.
No, that's the Wilbur Community Building
Okay.
and the Senior Center.
Okay, I
Yeah.
wasn't sure about that.
Right.
A question about the library. Would it be, at some point during this process, would it be, can you hear me? Because with my hearing aids, sometimes I don't talk that
Lisa, you can come up to the
Alright.
table.
Sometimes I don't talk as loud as I
It is
should.
air
If I
conditioner
get
sitting over
feedback.
there, you've got the intake and you just hear the air conditioner.
Okay, on the library, would it be wise at some point in this plan to include, for lack of a better term, shelf life of some of the things we've already done in here and project when they may need to be done again?
Sure. Like the heating and air conditioning
How long is it
system.
gonna last?
Yeah, if you look at 20 years, 25 years,
Right.
that is something to consider down the road.
Okay.
Also, other things to consider potentially are, what if the library wants to expand?
Correct.
The library has gotten a lot of use this year. I think they're up to 2,500 visits this year. They had a huge turnout for the book sale. What if the library wants to say do an outdoor library area? So that's something to consider also.
I think I talked to Quentin the other day and he said they're closer to 35 now.
3,500. That's excellent. That's excellent.
Is that better than last year? Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
better than last
tremendously.
several years combined. Yeah,
Tremendously.
tremendously. Yes.
Get a new management, that's what
It
it is.
is. Absolutely, there's somebody doing a great job up there.
Yeah.
Well, Dad,
She's
not
doing a great job.
kicking the kids out after half an hour.
Yeah.
No.
Being there.
So that's what we were after, was getting the library used, and that's what's happening. So the Parks and Rec section, we put the pool in there for this next coming year. Pool filter replacement is probably something that's going to have to be considered. Okay. So Tom's got to go. He's got a medical call. So the pool filter replacement is something that's going to have to be considered. So we've got these two huge filters out there at the pool. They each, for the last 3 years, each year the side springs a new leak. So when we pressurize them, water sprays out, and the guys have been patching that. So they're steel, and there's no way to really cut the sides out and weld new sides on, because the whole thing is probably rotted. We're waiting on cost estimates from one of our pool contractors to see what a new filter system would cost. And actually, the one that we're talking to says, really, we don't need two filters. We just need one good one. So that's anywhere between 5,000 and 10,000 for a new filter.
Who is our contractor?
Dennis
Gerber?
Gerber, yes. He's the one that we get a lot of our supplies from. Yeah. So, we every year, just as a part of our budget, we've already factored in pool startup, and that's huge. Every year it's huge, because we have to scrape, power wash, potentially next year sandblast, and then repaint. And it runs about $8,000 to get the pool started up. We hope that next year or this coming season it won't cost quite so much because the guys did a lot more prep work and cleaning on the pool last year and this year. So we're hoping that the surface itself will be more stabilized this year.
You're also dealing with different water, aren't you?
We're also dealing with different water, so that has reduced our costs. We also got this last season, we got a new chlorinator, new chlorine pumps, new computer system that regulates that. So now we have more confidence that it is chlorinating properly. And I think the last couple of years it probably was not chlorinating properly and using way too much chlorine. So if we've got a new chlorinator, we've got we've got a new pump, we've got, if we get the filter going, if we take the filter out, that gives us opportunity to cut into the deck and excavate down to find out what return lines or supply lines are leaking, and at least we can fix what's under the concrete there. So hopefully that will stabilize. And, you know, we were looking at the possibility of not having the pool. And a lot of it hinged on the fact that we were buying water and putting it into the pool, which was, you know, $5,000 to $7,000 a year just in water. Now that we have the well system, we're pumping water out of the ground, and if the pool leaks, okay, it just puts it right back into the ground. So that takes kind of the pressure off of us wasting water. We're not really wasting water. It's like a fountain. We're taking water out, we're putting it in.
Do we meter between the well and the pool, just to see how much we may use?
Yes, I believe I don't know that we do. Honestly, I don't know we do. We do. We still have the supply line from Rural 5, and we
Right.
use some of that to help get the pool up to speed. But I don't think we have a meter on that new supply line, but that would be a good thing to check. See how much water we're using.
How much we use and how much we use.
Right.
Just from a knowledge standpoint, to know if we need to take some kind of action.
It's generally,
If it's like our city and it goes plump, then we've got to figure out we're losing someplace to figure it out.
right. But at least in this case, we're taking it out of the ground, we're just putting it back in. And last year, our water consumption, what we pumped to the pool last year or the year before last, so the summer of 24, was about almost 900,000 gallons. And the pool holds about 110,000. So almost 9 pools. So the Parks and Rec plan, that is going to be another huge comprehensive plan. The Parks and Rec plan can be aided by our engineering company, JEO. I would recommend that they do help drive that because they can help find grants and resources to develop the parks. They are very good at that. So that's another, you know, the company or the capital improvement plan can be completed and wait for the Parks and Rec comprehensive plan. So,
Question.
Yeah.
Do we rely primarily on JEO on grants right now? I mean,
yes,
is that our primary?
absolutely. Yeah. And just for the grants discussion, they got us the grant for the water system design. They got us a grant for the Safe Streets for All program. Both of those are in the works now. They have also helped us apply for the construction grant from the Kansas Water Office, so that's in the works. When we get to the Safe Streets for All grant study done, that sets us up for multiple other grants. One of the main grants that I recommend the city go after is the Kansas Department of Transportation cost share grant that will help rebuild 6th Street from Pool Road all the way to Main Street, and more than likely include traffic lights. So we can't just go out and stick in traffic lights. We have a lot of liability if we do that. If we put traffic lights anywhere, it has to be followed by study and recommendation from an engineering company. The Safe Streets for All study will help provide that ammunition to say this needs to happen, and this is how it needs to happen. So that 6th Street redevelopment, widening it, probably curb and gutter, and rebuilding the whole thing from Pool Road clear up to Main Street, including traffic lights at 6th and Main, and including sidewalks from Pine Ridge all the way up to Main Street. That's probably going to run close to $1.5 million. In doing so, the city has to come up with 20%. So, that's $300,000 that the city is going to have to come up with to get that done. The state of Kansas itself has a program to help offset our portion and potentially could cut that in half. So instead of $300,000, if the state of Kansas portion could help us reduce our liability or our responsibility to $150,000. So, if we can get the Safe Streets for All grant done, which it has been submitted, has been accepted, and we're to the point where we can do requests for proposals for people to do the study. Once that's done, that opens us up to more street improvements.
What's the difference between traffic signals, traffic lights, and crosswalk identification?
There is more. Well, obviously, there's more to it, right? You've got 4-way stops. And honestly, 6th Street and Main is our busiest intersection in the city.
No, I understand that. I'm saying,
Right.
what's the difference between going to 3rd Main and putting in a traffic signal,
Right.
or putting in a crosswalk notification system at a crosswalk for a school or something like that?
Right. So typically crosswalks, and I'm not speaking from any kind of knowledge point, but in my mind, crosswalks typically are not at an intersection. If you think about it, they're typically not at an intersection, and I'm not I don't have expertise in that, but if you're talking about putting a crosswalk, a lighted crosswalk at a 4-way stop at one of our highest trafficked intersections, to do that, you really need to do some kind of research and study to make sure that it's safe.
Have we done any of that?
That's a part of that Safe Streets for All program.
We can't do Safe Streets for All until, remind me again.
It's up and running now. So we are to the point where we can do request for proposals and get it started.
Okay.
My question, if we are not putting in stoplights to stop traffic, we're simply putting in high-powered notification devices, not stoplights. We're not putting up red, green, yellow lights. Okay?
Right.
But a notification system, this is a school crossing, school crosswalk. Is there a difference in the steps?
The city does not have the ability just to say we're going to put a stoplight here or a crosswalk here.
But we have a
this-
crosswalk there.
Right, we do, but we have not done the research and the study to say that's what needs to happen, because it opens up us and pedestrians to liability. Uh,
Can we put a cone there?
what's that?
We went to a soccer game. Where's it? Mulvane. Can we put a cone there that has like the pedestrian thing? Can we put a cone in the middle of the
In the
street?
middle of the street.
Running east,
what-
west.
Was that a part of our school zone or study? Okay.
Because
We
It's
have
just
a
a
study?
traffic cone. that
we
you
have a
like
study that has put in place what we have. What we have has been done to the study.
Okay, all right. And when was that?
That was
It was
15 years ago.
Okay, all right.
Right. So,
Okay.
so essentially, that's what the Safe Streets for All study is going to say. Essentially, this was what needs to happen at this intersection.
So
Because we cannot go out
we
and
have
just,
to realize that the pedestrian traffic and vehicle traffic has changed in those 15 years.
absolutely,
Because they've changed the schools, changed the location of the schools,
population.
the population has changed, and we have a very busy convenience store, which is great to have. But that increases the traffic right there.
Yes. So it has changed, but we still cannot just go out and stick something out there.
I understand. Oh,
Not even a traffic cone? Until we
Right.
wait for them to do their study? No?
Well, depending on liability issues and
what, when the council
Okay.
voted to cut the length of the school zone, what was the liability there?
that was based on that study.
It
We
was
didn't just
based-
make it up.
We didn't
Well, I
make it up.
know, I'm
It
just
was
saying.
based on the study that when they decided to cut the school zone, that is actually the recommendation that the study recommended, is that we not have a long monotonous school zone that everybody falls asleep for and pretty soon they're
I'm just
speeding
trying
before
to
they're out of
understand
it.
the difference between
Right.
So,
Protection one way, and that's all.
yes.
Okay,
And as part of that study, there was substantiation and due diligence and reason.
Any timeline on that study?
Well, it shouldn't take long. Honestly, it shouldn't take long. Once we get up and rolling, it shouldn't take long. I would say 6 months.
6 months.
up and rolling. Do we have a projected start date?
Not yet, but we have approval to send
Get
out
proposals.
a request for proposals.
Okay.
And then we screen the
Okay,
candidates and then we go with one.
okay.
What we don't want to do is just decide we're going to stick something here, and that creates another unforeseen consequence. Yeah. So
I think most of that is that intersection is just so dangerous that
it
well,
is.
you know,
It
not
is.
only us, but the community or,
Well,
they
part of
see it and they're going, hey, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do?
Right.
And we're
And we can't
Waiting.
just do.
waiting,
Well,
waiting.
I know.
part of the issue is, and we talked about this before, but it is enforcement. And the ability to enforce the regulations and laws in the school zone, and that we don't have consistent enforcement. We're gonna address that at some point in the plan, so.
Right. And also there are state statutes that we have to address
Follow.
too, as far as street regulations. And those state regulations as far as street traffic control are changing. I've got a workshop, Lisa and I have a workshop on November 4th that specifically addresses the upcoming changes in traffic signal rulings.
Is that a webinar type?
Yes. Yes. So if you'd like to come and sit in on that,
I would.
we can sure do that.
Be interesting because we're talking about spending millions of dollars over the next 5 to 10 years, potentially on schools.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
So on the idea of streets, as part of the infrastructure portion of this, if you roll on from sewer, well, let's just talk about sewer just briefly. The sewer, our lagoon has a lifespan of 30 years. We are at 16 years. So we're literally 14 years out from having to do something with our lagoon. Our engineering company recommends that, like in the next 4 years or 10 years out, that we do some kind of evaluation of our sewer lagoon, especially if we do have housing development. You know, potentially we have a housing development south of town, nothing solid yet, potentially 150 to 170 homes. So again, if that happens, if you figure 150 homes, every home has 2 cars, that's an additional 300 cars every day up and down 6th Street. Plus, you know, say a kid and a half per household, 150, that's was a lot. 225 kids. And that's up and down 6th Street. So some of the things that you might think about is dredging the lagoon if that's necessary. If there's a housing development that happens down there, they're going to have to do a lift station. That's a part of that development. That's another issue. Aeration of the lagoon. And there are multiple things that we can do to extend the life of the lagoon without actually having to expand the lagoon.
Quick question. You said that JEO was talking about potentially a study,
Yes, to evaluate.
okay, and what's involved with that? What's that gonna cost?
Yeah. So to do the study, their estimated cost is between $40,000 and $50,000. And that would be, you know, going out and doing core samples at the lagoon, doing flow samples. I don't know what all, but you know, in my mind, that's what they would have to do to evaluate.
So in theory, we should be putting something in the budgets to cover the expense of doing the study.
Yeah, because you know, I just talked to the city of Haviland. They have a lagoon. Actually, the pictures of the aeration device there is from Haviland. They KDHE is forcing them to do something with the lagoon because they haven't done anything with it for literally 70 years. So their sledge depth is vastly greater than ours, but we don't want to get behind the ball.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
so Lisa, just for a minute, while I take a break just a second, could you talk to him about the Master Street maintenance plan? Just briefly. Yeah, we talked with JEO about doing that. I will be right back.
The Master Street Maintenance Plan, that, we discussed with them is a plan that would start with a survey of our streets. And it's a professional engineering assessment of our streets and which ones, need complete work and which ones have a good base but maybe need some work. The Master Streets Maintenance Plan, focuses more on preserving the good streets, being sure that we take care of them before they degrade, and then, of course, plan for the replacement of the worst streets. In doing this, the cost would be between 10 and 50 grand, but he leaned more towards the 50,000 is what it would cost for Towanda. It's more of a proactive approach to where we look ahead at the streets, plan ahead for repairs for the worst ones and take care of the ones we got. They talked about our different streets and what it would take, but it appears to be a plan that we need to maybe get on track with to make a good plan for the future for our streets. Again, in the the plan is gonna be costly. But what else?
Okay, question.
Yeah.
Main Street
Mhm.
needs work. 10th Street doesn't need any work at all. It's a grade.
That's what she's.
How's this gonna correlate from Main Street to 10th Street?
He mentioned such as Main Street, which is still a good solid street. We've
Yes.
taken care of it by crack sealing it and preserving it. It would be one that would probably need just an overlay to kind of continue the preservation of it.
Okay, let's see where
Um,
you're going with that then.
As far as 10th Street, I don't,
Well, 10th Street's great. There's
again,
very little that needs to be done to it.
if there's any type of thing that 10th Street would need just to preserve it, that would be they focus more on the streets that just need a little bit of something to keep them going and not let our good streets fall apart. Because if you spend all your time repairing potholes and then your good streets start deteriorating, now you've got more streets that are falling apart.
Yeah.
The plan focuses more on preserving the good streets while making plans to replace the worst.
Or working on one down the road. Okay.
So I don't remember, why did we stop the annual chip
Chip
sealing?
seal? I have no idea.
I thought, I sent you an email, I think, yesterday. I thought at some point, at council meeting here earlier in the summer, there was discussion that they were doing some chip sealing this year. Is that?
Not this year.
No.
Okay.
No, actually, why they stopped chip sealing, I have no idea. They used to chip seal north-south one year, east-west another year. Really, we should have never stopped doing that. But like Lisa said, on the surface, you would think that we tackle the potholes first, the streets that are breaking down first. But that's counterintuitive. We should attack and maintain the streets that are good first, because you don't want them to break down while you're tackling the others.
Yeah.
So you make sure those are solidified. Once you have a plan for that, then you tackle the others to bring them up to that speed. Did you talk to them about some cities have a software that helps them develop the street maintenance program?
And from what I read, there's actually a vehicle that, he didn't mention that, but there's a vehicle with that type of software.
Yes.
That as it drives the city, it evaluates the street, it can evaluate the street. I don't know if a company particular hires that.
Actually, that was their discussion with JEO. They have two different programs. One, they have staff that go out and subjectively rate the streets and the conditions of the street. Another way they can do it is basically have AI. They have a camera on the front of the vehicle and they drive all the streets, and AI theoretically puts together more comprehensive and objective program for what, or at least does a better job of identifying street condition. So, instead of us saying, okay, here's what we're going to do, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, I think it would be good to have people who are like street experts develop a plan for us, and then we stick with that plan.
What, anybody still have a copy of the plan we developed, that Pearson helped us develop 5-6 years ago?
No, other than just like Highland replacement and
Well,
intersection
they did
replacement.
a reasonably lengthy plan for the streets. Identified the biggest problem streets at that point in time. And that's the plan we were following until we didn't follow it anymore.
No, that I don't know anything about that.
I may still have a copy.
Okay. And if Pearson can do that, then we could
Well, I'm just saying,
fall into that too.
we had, biggest problem is not only having a plan, but following
Following
through
through.
and executing the plan.
Right.
Plans are great,
And budgeting for it.
and budget, well, that's part of the execution. Following through.
Mhm.
The trick's gonna be developing a street plan around the water line replacement plan.
Right. So fortunately with that, most of the water lines are going to go in the ditch. They're not going to go under the street anymore. Right now, all our water lines are under the street. So they're going away from that and they're going not under the street, but you're still going to have connection points and crossover points. So you're still going to have some street damage, but not as much as if they went right down the center of the street.
Good.
So we included in the plans, just things that we had some costs from contractors. The street improvements from Pool Road to Main Street on 6th Street, that's about $1.5 million. Looking at grants and cost sharing programs for that. 6th Street from that is just so the 6th Street improvement from Pool Road north of the railroad tracks. That was just a patch and an overlay, and that was 36,000. If we're going to do the big one, we're not going to tackle that. But if not, that's 36,000 to do a mill and overlay from Pool Road to the railroad tracks on 6th Street. Clay Hill Road from 100 to 6th Street, we're looking at around $300,000 to rip the sides off of the street. The shoulders are breaking down. Rip those off, replace the base rock under that, and then do I think a 2-inch overlay, or maybe a 4-inch overlay. But that was $300,000.
Okay. And you probably want more than 2-inch with the heavy traffic
Yeah,
buses.
yeah.
dump
So
trucks.
it looks like 4-inch overlay. No. It was 2-inch overlay. Yeah.
Four.
Yeah.
And the entire
Same
road,
thing
2
on
inch.
6th Street, if we went to match there, it needs to be.
It needs to be more than 2-inch. Yeah.
Those buses.
So 300,000 there.
Trash trucks, it's gonna fill a lot.
The intersection, Main and 3rd, chronic intersection. They're talking about cutting out the east and westbound lanes that are buckled and just replacing that. That would be 48,000 for that. So we want to blame, say, Dustroll's trucks or the trash trucks, but I mean that contributes to it. But every day during school season, you've got car after car after car after car stopping there. So it's not Dustroll's trucks, it's not the trash trucks. It's just the fact that stoplight's there, and everybody stopped. Well, okay, I'm not gonna say everybody stops at the stoplight, but you have all that traffic stopping there. So you have 1,000 to 2,000 vehicles stopping or hesitating to stop there every day. And the hotter it gets in the summertime, then that adds to that buckle.
On northbound 3rd, you've got a lot of semi trucks that are coming off from 254. They're coming down that way too. That's not just buses and trash trucks. You're getting a lot of semis.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but we are. Yeah, on North 3rd. Yep.
Coming down 3rd Street?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Maybe
but
they're
we do. We
thinking
get a
that's
lot of-
the truck route.
Yep.
Has it
Okay.
just been recently? Because they're doing the pipeline.
No. This has been going on. I've been here for 10 years. It's continuous.
Interesting. We have an ordinance. We post.
Yeah, we got speed limits too. That don't mean shit.
Well, you gotta enforce it.
Thanks.
You gotta have enforcement.
Microphones are on, just saying. So Highland from 11th Street to 10th to 9th, those all need to be replaced. They're gravel now, and also the culvert there at the corner where it goes north to 11th.
Yeah.
On Highland, that needs to be ripped out and replaced, and all the drainage done there. And we need to do something to prevent the vehicles from dropping off into that ditch as they go around the corner, especially like trucks and trucks with trailer. They chronically drop off into that ditch as they go south on 11th and then around to Hunter. They crush the culvert. The guys have opened it up a couple times, but that whole corner needs to be rebuilt.
These cost to repair estimates, where are they coming from?
That was from Pearson.
That's current recent or?
That was from the last year and the year before.
I apologize. I was gonna insert those and I didn't.
Yeah, so those were from Pearson Construction.
Okay.
So next one is the sidewalk from 6th Street on 6th Street from Pine Ridge to Main Street. That is a part of the Transportation Alternative Program with the state of Kansas. That and the 6th Street rebuild. Our engineering company has already approached KDOT, and they say that's a great program. It perfectly fits because if you drop down on Google Maps anywhere on 6th Street, there are kids walking up and down that. It's not a safe area, and that would fit their program. I mean, if they're going to fund anything, that would easily make that transportation way safer and provide sidewalks so the kids aren't walking in the street.
I'd asked maybe the last meeting we actually had or the one before that about going back in and rebarking 6th Street.
Oh, and Pool
I-
Road
I-
or 6th Street?
Yeah, I had 6th Street with a bike
lane.
walking lane.
Yeah.
Where we at with getting the cost on that?
We have not. I dropped the ball on that one. So, 6th Street bike lane. At least it could be delineated. And again, just picking out things that we have gotten cost for, Rainbow Drive. There's a good chunk of that is sinking. We got one cost estimate for doing concrete, and that was $70,000. That was to tear out an 80-foot long strip by a 30-foot wide section, including curb and gutter, and then a 36-foot long, 30-foot wide, including curb and gutter, and a couple other things. But that was $70,000, and that was concrete to redo that. And there may be a sinkhole issue right there.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah. So that may, instead of just saying, hey, we're going to do this, it might take more geological study to do that. And we're going to put money into it. Pool Road to Main Street. I think we covered that one. That was just duplicate. All right, something that we hadn't considered, and it's something that I heard from other communities was that potentially KDOT, if and when we get to the point where they do the final reconstruction of 254, that includes the overpasses and the interchanges. And we're looking 10, 15, 20 years out. And the redo from Wichita to El Dorado is going to eliminate any direct approach to the highway. So the only way you're going to get on and off the highway is through an interchange, kind of like I-70. And a lot of the roads are only going to go north and south, or they're going to dead end, and then there'll be a frontage road over to an intersection or an exchange. What we didn't consider was that historically, KDOT has required some kind of community participation in cost sharing. I talked to a representative from KDOT, and he said at this point, there is no stipulation for cost sharing as part of this program. But you're talking 10 to 20 years out, that may change. So if you're talking about an interchange at this point in time that costs $20 million and an overpass that costs $10 million, and we may be expected to do 5 to 10% cost share on that, that's a huge chunk of money. Now, how we forecast that and how we plan for that, I don't know. You know, so just say a 5% on a 30% or $30 million project, an interchange and an overpass on a $30 million project at a 5% contribution, we would be on the hook for $1.5 million. How we bank on that or how we plan for that, I don't know. But again, he said at this point in time, there's no stipulation in the program for community participation, but there may be by the time we get there.
Well, we're gonna need information on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so there is no information at this point in
Well, I
time.
get that, but
Right.
we're gonna need more than could be. We're gonna need
That's exactly right.
plans for.
Yeah. Plan for. Water. So we are obviously the biggest elephant in the room right now is our water system rebuild, and that is going to run between $4 and $10 million. When we say $10 million, that is if we redo the whole thing that's on the plan right now. If we did that, it would probably run close to $10 million. Now, do we need to do that whole thing? Potentially not. But there is a lot of 2-inch pipe out there. Even in the kind of the Norman edition in that area, there's a lot of 2-inch pipe in this area. That has to go. When we had our 8-inch water line break down here, when the core drilling company punched into that 8-inch line, the guys finally got it shut down to where they could work on it. When they got it shut down, water started seeping out of Mechanic Street, like in multiple places.
Mechanic?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Mechanic. And when they got it turned back on, the water went away. So, but that's a lot of 2-inch and 4-inch galvanized, or 4-inch cast iron, 2-inch galvanized. We're going to have a community conversation next Wednesday at the community building, and it's just an open discussion. It's a come and go thing where people can come and ask questions about the water system, the sales tax, all of that. So, and invite anybody to come. It starts at 7 o'clock next Wednesday at the community building. From our water, from the water bills that we sent out, we factored in money to set aside for water system debt payment. Also between that and our sales tax collection, if we can get that passed, that's about $220,000, $240,000 a year that we can put towards paying on the debt. However, we finance this water system replacement. Financing that water system replacement. Once we get the water system plan done, which it should be done, I would assume by the end of the year. Once that's done, And if we can get the sales tax passed, then we can start the construction. And when that starts, I don't know, maybe before the end of next year. To finance that, we're going to look at revolving loans from the state, USDA loans, which can go up to 40 years, general obligation bonds, and there are a couple of other financing options that we can look at, but those are the core three at this point.
So maybe by 2026, the end of the year is when we start.
Potentially, because we've got to get contractors. The contractors have to factor it into their schedule. And there are other water systems in the state of Kansas who are doing the exact same thing we're doing.
Competition.
The sales tax initiative. Phase one of the project is the main lines, right?
The trunk lines, yes,
8-inch.
8-inch, yeah.
Right. And the projected cost on that is around $4 million.
I think so, between 2 and 4.
Okay. So we're clear and understand that this first initiative is going to be primarily to cover the trunk lines, 8-inch lines.
I would think so, yes. And there are, so the map and the project is fluid, right? So if they get into it and they decide, oh, 3rd Street, which we've talked to the engineers about, 3rd Street needs to be replaced.
Right.
There are 5 patches between 3rd Street and I. So he's like, if you want to tackle that and include that in the trunk line, then we'll shift one.
Right. As we go forward, now it's a question for later.
We'll discuss it at the meeting.
Okay. So, needless to say, if the sales tax, well, I don't know needless, but if the sales tax doesn't pass, the cost has got to be paid. It's not like we're spending, say, $10 million to build a new city hall or $10 million to build a new pool. The things we don't have to do. We're literally replacing water lines that are failing and that are 100 and some years old. So doing nothing is literally not an option. It's going to get worse and worse. So what I'm saying is, if the sales tax doesn't pass, it will probably hit property tax because it's got to come from someplace. The next part of this was water system or water meter replacement. We have budgeted for that. We have an amount factored into the
Budget.
yeah, this is not correct.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but okay, so we'll fix that.
Okay.
So we factored in an amount on the base fee, which covers water meter replacement. We replaced all of the water meters, 500 water meters, all at once, using money that we got from the COVID relief program. Those meters have a life expectancy of 20 years. We can't, that was money that we were given as part of this federal funding. We didn't have to come up with it. We've got to plan ahead so that the people who are here 20 years from now are not hit with a huge burden. So we're factoring in $350,000 replacement around 2045, and the way we're budgeting, we should have close to that by that time. So that one's already in the works and should be there when we get there, or at least a huge chunk of it. Let me throw this out before we get into equipment. One piece that we have not included in here that is we're working on numbers is that the fact that potentially in the future, if we're looking at future costs and future costs that we might incur, we might have to put back together our own police department. If we do that, we've got to factor in costs. We've got to factor in costs of what vehicles might cost, uniforms, weapons, personnel, and some of the cities around are starting out their officers at $29 an hour. And that's full time. There are many factors that we're factoring in there, but that is going to be another piece of the capital improvement plan. What are we going to need if we have to do that? Right now, we're not there yet, but what if we have to?
Well,
So,
you and I have talked about this. We may not think we're there, some of us, but a lot of public opinion is that we are there. I think it's something to at least address.
we need to address it.
We need to confirm numbers, we need to confirm costs. We're spending this year's budget, $145,000. Is that what we budgeted this year?
Approximately.
Approximately $150,000. So we're spending that now. What's the difference between that $150,000 and what it would take to finance our own department?
Right.
So that's what we got to look as far as additional tax.
So in some of our research, at least I have done, is that of all the communities that surround Towanda, Benton, El Dorado, Andover, Augusta, Wichita, places that have their own police department, per resident, the city of Towanda is paying far less per resident in police protection than all of the rest of them.
I understand.
Far less.
I understand that, but we also have less consistency.
Yeah,
That's just something that needs to be addressed.
it's something that needs to be
And that's
addressed.
going to be in the plan. I think it needs to be addressed, but
A few years ago, we were paying for, or we had budgeted for officers. And I think that would have come pretty close to getting us back where we needed to be with our own department.
Honestly,
I agree.
the climate is,
We've got to move on one way or the other. And we're kind of under some deadlines because there's some verbiage in that contract that gives us dates and need to notify them we're going to renegotiate and do those kinds of things. So, and I'd ask for it to be put on the November agenda. So
yes,
we'll have a
yeah,
discussion.
we'll talk about it in the November meeting, yes.
We'll
Right.
figure it out.
The water tower.
Oh, the water tower is not in here too, so
It is.
it isn't here?
Is yours missing a water tower?
I thought mine is. Mine's missing.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we don't have water tower.
Okay.
I thought there was one in
Apologize.
the PDF.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay,
Lisa has it though. She's gonna get it to us.
so add the water tower.
Add the water tower
Add
to
the
the
water
books.
tower. Add the water tower to the book.
books.
So the water tower, last time we had it repainted, it was, anybody remember? Like,
4 years ago.
no,
it was,
we've done it since I've been on the council. I've been here 8 years, so.
Yeah. About 4 years ago.
Oh, 3 years ago. I thought you said 20 years ago. Let me
No,
readjust
3-4
my
years.
hearing aids a little bit here.
it seemed like it cost a lot. I don't remember what it was. Was it like 200,000?
That was before me.
Yeah, I don't remember. So on
They
the
do
water,
cost a lot.
But
yeah,
we did the extra, we did a lot of work on it, interior to it.
yes. On the top of the water tower, there are Verizon towers, and we get a little over $2,000 a month tower rental from those. Those go in the water tower fund, which specifically takes care of our water tower maintenance and inspection. So the water tower every year has to be inspected. They go in it, they go around it, they do a thorough inspection, and that has to go to KDHE. That runs us about, I think, 13,000 a year for that inspection. So, you see that water tower out there, we don't just let it sit and do this thing. It has to be inspected. It has to be flushed. And I think we flush it every June, I think.
Early summer,
Yeah,
flush and burn it out.
yeah. So there's a lot of maintenance and testing that goes into our water supply.
Mike, when Rick was last year, just before he left is when they painted.
Right. So that would have been, I think it was about 4 years.
Yeah, of course.
So
Errol was still on the council.
Yeah.
It would have been 3 or 4 years.
So it is rusting. And honestly, I don't think it should be rusting this soon.
No, it should be.
So we need to get with that company. And see what kind of warranty we
I
have.
was gonna say, I think there was Rob should be. There was a fairly decent warranty.
Yeah. So the last time we had an inspection, which was in August, I believe, they pointed that out. They said this should not be rusting this fast.
Yeah.
So, but having said that, we've had a wetter than usual year, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
Or ice that stuck on it last year. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
First time in 30 years we actually had some. Yeah, because that was, my question is always, what's the warranty? And I think that one had a fairly decent, warranty on it when we did that, so.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't get it blasted good enough or something.
Yeah, because they especially went inside it to investigate it.
Yeah, they did the inside
Yeah.
and everything. They coated the inside and did the outside.
So the final piece of this is what we're calling the MERP, Municipal Equipment Reserve Plan, which is actually a separate fund. And this talks about just equipment that we use and replace. Things that are not real estate, not parks, not rec, not pool. We just got a new computer server system for City Hall. 5 years out, you're looking at potentially $10,000 to replace the computer server system. And you think, well, you can just buy a computer and replace it, but no, we have backup systems. We have online backups. It has our residents' data and history on it. There's a lot of files, a lot of records on that, a lot of information. So that's something to think about. And $10,000 is probably high, but that is something.
No, probably not.
Well, 5 years out, it might not be.
What are you talking about? Sitting home, laptops.
Laptop, we only have one.
Okay, I thought does maintenance have one?
We share this one. Maintenance has had laptops before, but the laptops that we have gotten were crap.
Yeah. I was thinking at one time we had purchased some laptops or a laptop.
I think we have 3 in the closet here that are dead.
Okay.
That were just didn't have enough memory capacity to function. They were cheap, but yeah, they didn't last.
Can they be updated?
No. No.
So that's the only laptop.
Yes.
We had no tablets or any other informational handout devices other than phones. Of
No.
course, you can do so much on your phone anymore.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And the one thing that we do have is our radio read device, which to replace that's about $13,000.
Okay.
That's a part of the water meter replacement fund. The guys put that in the truck, plug it in, drive down the street, read, come back. One benefit is that El Dorado's on the same system, Park City's on the same system. Other cities are on the same system, so if ours goes in the shop,
Call somebody.
we call somebody else. And honestly, we have loaned ours to Park City a couple times because they had issues with it. So, but with that, it has an app on the maintenance guy's phones. So it reads and then tells the guys what's red and what's not red.
What kind of, looking shorter term than 5 years, what kind of condition are the workstations, monitors, printers, that type of thing in?
We're all fairly new.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
All of them are fairly
One of my
new.
notes, okay.
Some of the things that we're looking at, maybe not replacing, but maybe doing away with some of the equipment we have. Our street sweepers. The guys say that it does fine as far as sweeping things up into a pile, and they got to go get the bobcat to sweep it up into a collection thing. So it's not a picker upper; it's just a sweeper upper into a pile thing. And I don't know if we got this from Dustrol or someplace else, but it still runs. It still works. To replace it with something that really does the job, you're looking at close to 200,000. So it's not used enough to seriously consider it, but it will have some maintenance costs. Dump trailer, that is something that the guys need right now. Honestly, the dump trailer that they were using is my dump trailer. It's a dump trailer that I use or I built, and we don't use it for anything but like hauling brush and that kind of thing. But it was just to see how much they would actually use it if we got one.
Wasn't there, didn't we look at some bids or cost estimates on
Yeah.
that trailer here a while back?
Yeah, so we're looking at about 12,000. When we were initially looking, it was 8,000. We looked again at the same trailer today, and it was 10,000.
Remind me, wasn't,
We didn't get it because we were thinking about buying it at the same time as we bought the jetter.
the jetter?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we thought we'd just put that off. Okay. So that's something to consider in the next 5-10 years. The Kubota tractor, the guys use it a lot for mowing and snow removal and well, the guys use the tractor a lot, and we're looking at 60,000 for something to replace that. I think that's very conservative. The replacement timeline 10 to 15 years, so that's got some life left into it.
What's our annual maintenance run on that? Do you have any idea?
On this, not much of anything.
Okay.
Yeah, really not much of anything. The thing that we do have to maintain is the brush hog. Do we have the brush hog in here?
Brush hog is not in there.
Okay. The brush hog, which is not a brush hog brand, but we've had drive shaft issues with it. I think this year we put 2 drive shafts on it at $1,800 a piece.
Is that a batwing or?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm. So that's the biggest issue or biggest maintenance issue as per something tied to the Kubota. So we didn't put the brush hog on there.
So.
Go ahead.
So what you're saying is probably, a lot of this stuff is 5, 10, 15 years out, which is what we want to see.
Yeah.
But you're saying the brush hog may be a sooner than 5 years
Sooner
out.
than,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Maybe we'll have a look at that. If it's that bad.
Yeah. And so I don't know if it's an off-brand thing that we got, but
I can't remember. We haven't had it that long.
no, it's like nearly new
It's less than 10 years old, I'll tell you that.
or 5.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying is because why Rick recommended that particular mower.
Have gone back to the dealer for the parts and quizzed them.
Yes. And they said that's like disposable part. It's not covered in the warranty.
Hmm.
Yeah. So from what I understand, and you know what's what I don't know, but apparently they gave us a really good deal on the trade-in that we had, which was a brush hog.
Yeah.
There might be a reason why they gave us a good deal on this one.
Just brush up, yeah.
Yeah.
We probably need to discuss that for sooner than later.
Yeah.
'Cause they-
Um, So the guys actually are using using this. I call it a brush hog, batwing, batwing mower, less than they have before, because we did away with mowing the lagoon. We don't mow that anymore. They used to mow the heck out of that, and it was a waste of fuel and time. So it shouldn't be having issues that it's having. Also, I think one of the wheels, or the pivot wheel, um, it had issues. We had to get a new wheel because the bolts wallered out the hole, or the holes in the lug nuts. So,
Okay.
so the skid steer that we have, skid steer, the arms, the frame are torqued. How that happened, who knows? But it still works. The guys still make it work, but it's going to have to be replaced in, I would say, 5 years.
Have we looked into leasing some of this equipment?
We are looking into that. Yeah. So that is an option too. So if we're going to put money aside each year, maybe we just lease each year.
That
Yeah.
might reduce our maintenance costs
Yeah.
long term.
Yeah. Because the guys are always fixing something on this equipment. Be it hydraulic hoses, or rebuilding buckets, or the piece of equipment get used. And the thought is, well, maybe they're abusing it. No, maintenance, equipment requires maintenance. I mean, Destrol can tell you, they have an entire shop out there that's just devoted to maintaining their equipment. So, so that's going to have to be replaced, probably in 5 years. The orange trailer really is too small for the equipment that we have. It's been used for years and years and years, but it barely fits the equipment that we have. So it would be good to replace that and at least get a trailer that can be used. And potentially the dump trailer, if we get a dump trailer, potentially a dump trailer could replace this thing. So, and that's the Ferris mower. It is on its way out. The guys have to fix it every year. The replacement cost on that is probably around 16,000. We have two mowers. We have the Ferris mower and the Skag mower, and both of those we have to consider replacing. Obviously, we just got the Skag mower 2 years ago. It's a great mower. It had an issue with the engine on the Skaggs mower, and literally we had to replace the engine, and Skaggs covered it in their warranty.
It's good to hear.
Yeah, so Skaggs are good mowers. So the Ferris is going to have to be replaced in the near future.
Skag is a few pages back. It should be up there with the
Yeah,
others.
yeah. We might put the Skaggs mower with it.
Yes.
Yeah. The backhoe, the guys are saying that the only reason they really use the backhoe is for the front loader. So if we're thinking about replacing the backhoe, maybe we think about replacing the backhoe and the excavator when the excavator, we just use the backhoe until the excavator needs to be replaced. And then we replace the excavator with a little bit bigger excavator. So, I mean, they use the backhoe on the excavator vastly more than they do on the backhoe. And then just get a front loader uh, of some kind to replace those two. So that's, that we're looking, what do we say? Is there a timeline on
On
this?
it down further.
Up here it says timeline urgent replacement needed, cost of repair, maintain 1,500 to 3,000. What?
Per year. I mean, they do
Is that
have
what
to,
it is?
they do have to work on it.
Okay,
There is like there are defense mechanisms built into the thing, as I understand it, that the thing will shut down and go into crawl mode, and the guys have to crawl it back to the shop if it overheats, and that happens. That had last year it happened frequently. We had a guy come out and work on it. But it does have chronic overheating issues. But if we're looking at replacing that, they don't use the backhoe on it.
Yeah.
So maybe some kind of front end loader. The dump trucks, we are, when the city of El Dorado tells us it's time to go, we're getting at least two of our guys CDLs. So they will be able to drive these on the highway. Right now, we don't put them on the highway and we barely use them in town. And that's another reason why I've been making them use my dump trailer. And it's just for trash and trees. If we got a new dump truck, I don't know if we have factored a cost into replacing a dump truck yet. Let's see.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so we've got two dump trucks, and whether we need two dump trucks or not, that's something to debate. I honestly don't think we do, but especially if we got a dump trailer. Also, if we're going to do much more street maintenance, we're going to get more involved in street maintenance. The guys really need a bigger roller. This roller is 500 pounds, and it's just too small to handle the patches. That's why you get lumpy patches a lot, because they can't roll them out. We are looking into the possibility of renting a roller when we need it. So if that's the case, then we'll just rent one. Skaggs mower is just what we talked about before. That one's 10 to 15 years out. That one's ways out. The blue Chevy Silverado 1995 finally crapped out. I think the transmission went out on it. It's sitting out at the lift station right now.
We might want to adjust the comments then, because it says keep the truck in repair.
What's that?
The comments on that.
The comments?
Yeah, look at you.
Says plan to replace in 2035. Probably won't make it.
Yeah, probably not.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's what was on the notes they gave.
Oh,
So,
okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think what they're saying is they don't use it. They have enough trucks that,
oh, they wouldn't need another truck.
Yeah.
Maybe later.
right.
Okay.
The bucket truck. So the bucket truck has two issues. One, you're going to think about replacing it, in 10 years. But also, it has maintenance issues, like chronic maintenance issues that we didn't realize. The DEF system on it, or the emissions control system, that's an expensive thing to maintain. If we can take the emission system off illegally, then I would say we do that, if that's the case. From what I understand, again, I'm no expert, but what I understand, some of the new trucks don't have the DEF system on them.
Right.
So
Because it was such a hassle.
because it was such a hassle, the company that does our service on this says that's a huge portion of their business is fixing these DEF systems. When we first got it, the fix of the DEF system was $11,000. So if we've got to do that every 5 years, that's a chunk.
We just got this truck.
We just got this truck. And fortunately, we only paid $23,000 for it, which was a blessing.
A lot more when you add in that repair right off the bat, 11,000.
Plus 5,000 the next year.
What would it cost to take it off?
I don't know.
I'm sure there's some workarounds that have to be.
Pretty sure it's the computer system
Yeah, I don't know.
that you have to get in there and someone that's tech savvy and
Yeah,
delete it out and
Well, I bet you got to commercially repair it. Just
yeah.
Cost.
And
If
legally.
it's legal and
Right.
it's less than what we're spending in maintenance, it might be a wise
Take it off.
decision.
Right. You know, if they're not putting them on newer trucks, then why can it not be taken off? But that's something that we want to do it legally. I mean,
Oh,
we can just take it off, but. So our flatbed truck, it just about burned up, 2 years ago.
did you get called out?
But it's had lots of issues, or it just stops and the guys start up again. It's just, it needs to be replaced, and it is 22 years old, going on 22 years old. The golf carts, we're thinking, the gas powered golf cart probably could be sold off. The electric golf cart we like to keep, just because if it works and it continues to go. If we replaced any golf cart, we'd probably replace it with another electric.
Why? May I ask?
What's that?
Why?
Because it's smoother and it's quieter and
Overall, it's cheaper to maintain.
yeah.
Not the batteries.
Well, batteries usually hold up pretty good though.
When you're doing code enforcement, as in the past, an electric golf cart has its advantages in that you could go
Use
down
the
the road
sleeper.
and not be noisy.
Stealth.
That was a problem with the gas one.
Just a little.
Wouldn't go.
It's also how old?
20 years.
So the next one is
Probably
blonde.
not 19, 30.
Blonde ox paver, blonde ox paver, which we have out at the lift station. Actually, do you not have the blonde ox paver?
No.
Huh.
Golf cart's the last thing
I-
we have. Or
I-
that I have.
I got
I got it.
favor, just no picture, but
You have
it's yellow.
I don't have a picture.
the whole slew of things you don't have there, Mike.
I have a picture of it.
Okay, so the blonde ox paver, we bought that several years ago, and it worked for paving Pool Road. They used it to pave Pool Road and Bigelow.
Do you though?
The problem that we have with there you go. The problem that we have with blonde ox paver
Real good.
right now.
Sorry, go ahead.
The problem that we have with the blonde ox paver right now is that the tracks are rotted, and we even called the company and they said, we don't make those anymore. And I said, could you make us some? And they said, no. They said, we might be able to cobble you something together, but they wouldn't work. Yeah, and that was a blonde ox company. So the thing runs, the engine works on it, the components work, but the tracks don't work. So that is something that probably is going to have to be either sold off, or we're going to have to figure out how to make it work.
When's the last time we used that?
Pool Road,
That was a while ago.
Pool Road and, Bigelow.
Bigelow was the last time that we did part of Bull Run. Yeah, Bigelow. So
Part.
that's been 10 years ago, 9 years ago.
Yeah.
I darkened your potential sell estimate that said 3,000 to 15,000 because I found two of them online that ran and worked for 12,000, and if ours does not work, we're not going to get 15 out of it.
No,
So
no. I mean, the engine is salvageable.
yeah, but you're not going to get 15 out of it.
So there are some other, I was talking to,
Talked to an individual who said he knew somebody who could build some tracks.
right. So if we can do that, then we can get it up and running, then we can use it. Another alternative, is back in the next section. And that is kind of the potential future purchases and kind of I don't want to say the maintenance wish list, but these are some of the things that they've talked about. If you go back to, let's see, where are you?
Mini asphalt paver,
Yes, the mini jet.
keep going, you're almost there.
Yeah. So there's what's called mini jet asphalt paver. It does go on the front of a Bobcat, and it will do a full length. Now you got to feed it and feed it and feed it faster than you do like the Blonx paver. But something like this would let you do large patch jobs quickly. I mean, you're not going to pave a whole street with it. But honestly, our maintenance crew has so many things to do. I mean, they are backlogged. They've got so many things to do that if we expect them to pave an entire street, it ain't gonna happen. If we could do large patch jobs, they can do that.
We better figure that if we need to do a whole street, we'll contract that out.
Yes,
Look at contracting a lot of stuff,
absolutely. Yeah.
more than we ever have.
Yes. Yes.
When you factor in the wages, the benefits, the equipment, the cost of equipment,
Time.
some equipment that, we really got to sit down and formulate and research what we can contract and what's. What, if we can't use that paper now, I mean, we've talked about selling that thing for the last 2 or 3 years at least. Well, why is it still out there?
I think the hope was that we could get it working.
Okay, all right, and that's,
And one of the things that the guys have learned now is that we don't go get asphalt.
No.
The guys do not go. 2 reasons. One, I don't want them out there on the highway with their dump trucks, because they don't have CDL. Once we get the CDL, fine. But the other factor is the asphalt suppliers can bring us asphalt faster than we can go get it in about the same cost.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one complication they had with the paving machines is that they couldn't get the asphalt to it fast enough. So they had to stop. And then next time they had to stop. If we can plan it ahead, then the asphalt suppliers can bring us asphalt almost as fast as they can lay it. But in that instance, if you're going to do a job that big, it would probably be better to have somebody who really knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
To mill it and overlay it, get it done.
I mean, I could see the patch
Yeah.
because we do a lot of that.
Right.
And we'll probably wind up doing more of
Right.
that just to keep streets in good repair once we get things done.
Right.
Well, have we considered the possibility of selling some of this equipment and putting it towards a dump trailer?
Yeah.
Or something we need?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely. And the guys have made up a list of things that are just dead and dying. Yeah. So some of the things that they kind of put out there as things that would make the department more efficient And one is just the idea of tire machine where they can change their own tires. Because right now we got to stop, take it over to one of the shops. More than like most of the time, Myers, who's right next door. If the guys could fix it, they could fix it and go.
Do we have floor space for this?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We've got shop space. Yeah, we
Okay.
do.
Over that side of the shops.
Yeah, and then the compact wheel loader. That's front end loader. That would be like a replacement for the backhoe. Yeah, the mini jet. Another thing they thought about is if you got rid of the golf carts, you could potentially do one of these little. It's costly, but it's a work utility truck. Has a dump bed on it. Has a front loader. Has a snowplow attachment for it. We're I'm pushing them to really get more into groundskeeping. So we basically created the groundskeeping position where we do flowers, flower beds, focus on maintaining the parks better, all the lawn and landscaping. So next year they're talking about doing more perennials, roses, things like that continue to grow instead of having to change them out. So that might be handy in a groundskeeping aspect. Compact excavator. This excavator is a little bit bigger than the one they have. It would just have a little more power. Obviously, you can change the buckets in and out. The smaller buckets or bigger buckets or grapples or whatever. But the idea is that once the mini excavator is done, it would be more efficient if we got a front loader and a bigger excavator, since we don't use the bucket on the backhoe much. So there's a lot of parts and pieces to think about, and there are components that we have not included yet. The water tower, potential putting the police department back together. Backhoe or brush hog.
That's a good start.
Lots of parts and pieces. Lisa was here till midnight last night. It was all together.
Trying to get it before we could print it and put it together.
So things like, the printer. That's.
That's a
leased, and
lease.
that's- Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned HVAC on the library. We have that here and.
So that's another thing. On the city hall, we're gonna have to look at HVAC for city hall. One of our units is making a lot of noise. They need to be off the roof and on the ground.
Relocate them.
Relocate them. Our old police department down here, that the sheriff's office occupies, that's pretty stable. That's got a new roof, and I don't know about the heating and air conditioning, but we haven't heard anything about that. No, we haven't heard any complaints about it.
I haven't heard seen anybody in there for a while.
You guys gotta check in on it periodically.
Yeah, actually, the guys regularly change out the filters and that kind of thing. They've got a schedule.
Didn't they insulate the roof
Yeah,
years ago?
yeah, they put a new roof on it. It was a flat roof.
Yeah, but they also insulated it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The community building, I think it has 2 new heating and air conditioning units.
But it needs a new roof.
Yeah, it probably needs a new roof. Senior center, we did do an overlay on the pool room on the back last year. I think it was like $1,200. That should be solid, but the roof itself on the top, or the roof for the main building, is probably gonna need work in the next, say, 10 years. Just for what it's worth, the lighting system at the community building, 2 years ago, we realized that whoever did the wiring in it should not have. So we gutted that. We pulled all the wiring, all the lighting system, all the lights,
You mean at the
fixtures.
museum?
No,
Or
well,
the
that
community
too,
building?
that too. The community building.
Okay.
So both community building and, or not, the senior center and the museum.
Okay.
We pulled all the wiring out of the ceiling because it was not to code. And we put it back to code and had the building inspector sign off on it. So now all of our buildings are up to code. We did the same thing with our maintenance shop. We pulled all the wiring out of it and rewired the whole thing, and it's all up to code. The museum, we did the same thing.
I know it's facility wise, there was anything, is there anything that we need to look at that's gonna need to be done on the maintenance building itself, their facilities?
Not as such. One of the overhead doors, two of the overhead doors may need to be replaced.
But nothing structurally.
Nothing structural. We did have the Kansas Department of Labor come in, and we had a mezzanine above the office out there, the break room. We had to put, they specified that we had to put a weight limit figure on there to have an engineered inspection and design as far as weight limit was going to cost us between $5,000 and $10,000. So we took the staircase out and boarded it up. And we just did more shelving down below because we didn't have much stuff up there anyway. We just did away with it.
Storage and being able to get vehicles in and everything like that, they've got money.
Right now we do. It would be one of the things that we would, or the guys would like to have, let's put this on there too, is a shelter for salt, rock salt out at the lift station area. Right now it's in one of the buildings. If we could get that out of there, that would give us more room. Right. Yeah.
I've been gonna ask about lift station. How often do we need to replace pump or motor for a lift station?
Yeah, so that's something to consider also. Our guys just went to a lift station maintenance workshop where they actually learned how to break down the pumps and rebuild the pumps. The lift station may need to be relined. It was relined once. I think Mayor did that maybe 5 years ago, but some of the lining is coming off of the sides, so that might be something we need to check into also. Another thing that we might need to check into, the sewer lagoon is 16 years old. That means our backup generator out there is 16 years old.
Does that get run periodically?
We have that inspected once a year.
Is there service?
Service, inspected and serviced once a year. Foley comes out and does it.
Does it automatically run once a week or something?
Yes. Yeah, so it's on its own system where it fires up once a week, just make sure it does. And if it doesn't, it sends the maintenance crew a text saying, hey, I'm not starting. And they go out and
You dealt with sewer, you dealt with a number of things. What kind of shape do you realistically think sewer lines are in?
sewer lines in town are in good shape. And that's because we centriformed them, 15 years ago?
Probably.
Yeah, so our sewer line,
I recall we had to do some work up northeast and so.
yes, so we got rid of a problem that had been a chronic problem for 30 years. One major issue that we do have that is going to have to be tackled someday, but not today, that is the sewer line. There's one sewer line that comes down 2nd Street Okay. From the north side and crosses Main and heads south. That one sewer line handles all the sewage that comes out of the north end of town. And that's everything from Timber Point to clear over Hunter Road. Everything comes through, comes down through that line. And so historically, they've had grease plugs at the manhole there at Second and the alleyway behind the business buildings there. Now, historically, they thought, well, people are putting a lot of grease down there. They're not. The issue is there is a hump under Main Street that's about 2 foot tall. So the bottom of the manhole north of Main Street is 2 foot lower than the hump in the middle of Main Street. So that manhole has got to fill up 2 feet before there's enough head pressure to push that over the hump. Okay. So to fix that, you're talking about cutting the main sewer line for the entire north end of town and ripping up Main Street all the way across.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is, that brand new jetter we got works really well. So once a month, the guys go out and they jet that to make sure that they just so they're just going to have to continue that till.
Who was the scuba diver that discovered the hump?
Actually, Ryland figured out there was a hump, and then also the last time we had Mayor come out and they had to jet the thing twice, and they figured out they said, oh, you've got a hump because they jetted it from the manhole. There's a manhole south of Main Street. Nothing came out until that jetter got over that hump, and then stuff started coming out. So to fix that is a monumental task. So from now until the indefinite future, we're going to jet that thing.
Can you bore in a parallel line and tie it in to the manholes?
You can, but then you've got jog issues. How are you going to jog over to that? And the more jogs you have in a line, the more backup, I guess, the problems you have. So it will be a big, and the sewer lines in the street. So that's a monumental project.
Next time they redo Main Street, that would be a good project.
In 2065.
Yeah. 36, you recognize the problem, you got a solution for it.
Yeah.
There's a problem. What do we do?
The challenge will be remembering that there's a problem when you're doing that project.
Yeah, that's how we got here, right?
Yes.
So this is, when we get done, this will be a vastly more comprehensive capital improvement plan than we've had.
Well, this one is, the other one's fine. This one is down, not too bold for where we need to be. Superficial and, we got to drill down on it because costs aren't going down and people don't have any more spendable income if as much. So we got to drill down on this.
So, the cost of redoing a street, if we were to rip up and relay a street with curb and gutters, you're talking $1 million a block. So in Wichita, the cost of doing that would be $1 million a block. And here, it's $1 million a block, but they have 450,000 people. We have 1,600.
Yeah.
So the next steps, we're going to continue to put together cost figures, and we're going to compile all the rest of this information that we
I've gathered.
have gathered today. Yes. So that's why I think the goal is to have this capital improvement plan done and in place before the next budget process starts. And that's probably March, April of next year. probably March.
So we're looking realistically, budget process after the 2027, up to the 2028 budget process to really drill down on the water system as far as the budget.
Yeah, probably so. 27, 28, yes.
But we could be prepping for it all along, we put it together.
Right.
Okay.
So as a part of this capital improvement plan should make the budget process almost a year-long process. Because this needs to be reviewed. You're gonna be focused on from February to September, you're gonna be focused on the next year's budget.
Correct.
You really need to back up and say, review this thing in December,
November,
December, to be ready for the next budget
Right.
process. So that the capital improvement plan should make your budget process at least 2 to 3 months longer. Okay. If you're working the plan.
And you gotta work the plan.
Yeah.
We're planning,
But it's gonna help us get better numbers.
Yes. Get better numbers. Instead of, for the last 100 years, we've been saying, okay, we're gonna put $20,000 in the capital improvement. We're gonna put $15,000 in equipment. For what?
and then something pops up and say, oh yeah, we got the money, we'll buy that. It's not a true reserve.
Right. And, and so the equipment reserve, you can, in the accounting system that I have set up, you can put, say, equipment reserve, here's how much we have for Bobcat, for backhoe, for an excavator, for whatever. So you can actually see in the financial statement, this is what we've got.
There are definitely more financial spreadsheets and information for this plan. It's just that this is the preliminary, looking through the projects and seeing for sure what we've got and what we'll go with. There's a lot more to this yet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This was just gathering up what we have to deal with, what we need to consider.
There's a lot of things. There's several more conversations to be had.
Well, thank you.
So when is the next conversation?
Let us plot that out.
Okay. I didn't know if you had that time frame in mind or not.
So the next conversation is next Wednesday, community building.
Right.
We're going to discuss
And a lot of the conversation is gonna hinge on what happens with the sales tax.
Yeah.
I mean, that's gonna be a driver.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The sales tax needs to happen. All right.
Good job.